So, welcome everybody to the next episode of our podcast Strategiewerkstatt, our Hitchhiker's Guide through Strategy. I had a dentist appointment today, so if you see me drooling at one point, it's because of the anesthesia I got there. But that's not the topic at all. We have a different topic, a little bit more straightforward. My guest today is Kwadjo Nyante. I give the word to you. Who are you? What do you do? And then we jump right into our strategic topic.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcus. So my name is Kwadjo Nyante. Easiest way is like Kojo. I'm currently Chief Information Security Officer at Aignostics GmbH here in Germany. And my background is in cybersecurity. In essence, I did 3 master's degrees, 3 times valedictorian, and I'm just happy to chat with you when you talk to me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, yeah. 3 master's degrees. That's quite a busy life you're living.
That was long ago. I was young, wild, and dangerous.
Oh, okay. Young, wild, and dangerous. I thought one becomes more dangerous if you get older because then all the experience kicks in as well. Yeah?
The experience matters, like you're chasing things out there, especially when I was new in Europe. Actually, my final master at the MBA was just recently, but I just love to learn new things, especially decisions and how things go. So this is interesting for me.
You talk about decisions, and I think that's a great hook, a great curveball into our topic, because you are also a really good chess player, as I've heard, or as we talked before.
Yeah.
So what's your ELO number?
Currently, I'm 2000 rated on Lichess. I'm actually planning to go very soon. I've been playing for maybe 2-3 years now. And yeah, it really has always interested me, chess. And it's not just chess, it's decisions in general. I think at some point in my career, I realized that decision making is actually a skill. Just like how you learn piano or you learn to play football, it's a real skill how to make good decisions. And chess was one of the ways that I learned that.
Just to give everyone some perspective, you said ELO 2000. What does it mean? Like, how good is that?
Okay. So basically, the ELO ranges from anywhere 0 to about 3000. Okay, no one is really 0. It starts from maybe 800. You just learn the rules and you're just moving things around. Most club players, really strong club players, if you go to a chess club, are rated 1600. And then you get to the expert stage at around 1800. And so 2000 is 200 points above 1800, but it's not linear. It's actually, the higher you go, it's exponential. To the 200 point on top of 1800 is actually almost like coming from 1600 all the way. And just to give a range, the current world champion or the higher rated player, let's say, is close to 3000. So
that's Magnus Carlsen still? There was a change, right?
Yeah, Magnus Carlsen is no longer the world champion. Now is Kesh Dombraj. The Indian scene is absolutely amazing, but Magnus is still the highest rated player. For me, he's the greatest of all time.
A true GOAT.
Yeah, he's a true GOAT. It's a complete monster.
So in chess, so I would be at these 800 because I know the rules, but that's about it. So I'm really not good at chess. But as you said, in chess you have a constant decision making, right? So where do I move my pawn? Where do I put my officers in? Do I attack? Do I build a fortress? So there's a lot of constant decisions you have to take. What do you learn from chess into your real life decision making? What can you transfer from the way you play chess into real life?
Actually, a whole lot. I was really shocked by how much my decision making changed as the CISO improved after I started playing. But I'll just give you a few examples, right? So let's say that I'm a CISO and I make 3 decisions every day. Actually, let's just generalize so that it's for the whole audience. You're in any leadership position and you make 3 decisions per day. Let's say you are there for 3 years in that company. In a year, let's say you have 260 working days, times 3, you have over 2,300 decisions. Now, the question is, all these decisions, what is the quality of the decisions? Is it really moving the company forward? Are you even considering the right decisions? How do you even know? So in chess, you get to minimize this to the average game has 40 moves. So you have 40 decisions to make. And the first thing I learned was that when we have equal resources, the better decision maker always somehow wins. Actually, even if they have less. So if I play with you right now at 800 ELO, I could give you a free queen and I will still win, right? So it's not about the resources you have. That's the first thing. It's about how you use your resources. The second lesson I learned was ultimate accountability, right? Because when you play a game and you lose, you go back and you know that somehow it was always your fault. And this is not to make you feel bad, but you always have something to learn in there, that if I could have made this, if I could have made this decision. So for me, it lifts the pressure off. And the third thing I learned, and this was actually a deeper topic in strategy versus tactics. So when I got to about 1800 ELO, I would say that's when I started really learning what chess was, right? Because at that rating, nobody really makes mistakes anymore. One move blunders do not occur. So the question is, how do you win? So this is a funny one. So I played this tournament and I played this guy, must have been 12 years old. And those are the most scary people in chess. Those are the boogeymen. The boogeymen are the children.
Okay. Because they play more erratic, or what's going on?
I think that when you learn chess from childhood, your brain just processes it like a language as well. So it's really crazy, the decision-making capability of a 13-year-old. They're at the peak of their powers, almost, right? And so I played this game, and this kid must have been at least 2000 or 1900. And I promise I didn't make any obvious blunders or mistakes. And still I lost. And then I played again and I lost. And I took a step back and I'm like, how come you don't make any mistake, but you still lose? And I figured out that day the difference between tactics and strategy, right? So what I actually did wrong was that every move I made was tactically right. So you take a left turn, you take a right turn, but in a long run, you walk yourself into a dead end. So you had to have the ability to have a map that sees the end game from the beginning. Otherwise, it didn't really matter whether you had good tactics. So I thought of tactics like a compass in a forest. You know where to go left and right, but you could end at a river. And then the strategy is the map. And it really translated to my real life in cybersecurity as well. So if you go online, everyone says, do a pen test, get this certification. These are all good tactics, but it doesn't really mean it to help your company in the long run strategically. Right. So these are some of the things.
Now, I don't know how many combinations of like chess moves there are. I think it must be it's an insane number, right?
So actually there's a number on this. There's this guy Claude Shannon. When I did advanced cryptography, we learned about him in number theory. He actually calculated this as the number of possible chess games is 10 raised to the power 120. And just to put it in perspective, the number of atoms in the known universe is 10 to the power 80. So actually possible games, then you could have atoms in the universe. So it's really fun because in real life, that's how it feels, that there are so many options, decisions to make.
But how do you find, you said strategy is the map, right? And you are like visualizing what the end game could look like. But with all these opportunities, and I think that's the combination what we see now, the world is getting faster and faster. Gary Hamel says it's hyper exponential, right? So the speed of change is speeding up even. So things change so fast that to some it might seem that there's no way of having a map. There's no way of having a strategy because things move so fast. How does it fit together? Because when you say there's 10 to the power of 120 possibilities, how can you envision how the end game would look like?
Actually, this is a brilliant question that every new chess player also asks, like, how exactly am I supposed to do this? And the truth is that you do that with principles. You cannot always clearly see the end game. Maybe Magnus or Hikaru or one of those great players can see everything. But at my level, at least, you just have to ground yourself in solid principles, solid positional principles, right? Have activity, have space in the opening, control the center, develop your pieces, keep your king safe, look at color complexes, look at nuances in the position, right? So what is different between yourself and the opponent, when to attack, when to hold back initiative. Like there are real principles that you can hold on to. And the funny thing is that if you play in good principle, somehow opportunities always come up. It's like almost like in life. If you make good moves, you always have opportunities. And if you don't, the game suddenly starts getting difficult. Actually, one way you can feel whether you're playing positionally worse, positionally means strategically, right? Not tactics. One way you can feel it is that suddenly you are beginning to become uncomfortable in the game. You cannot, it's harder to find the next move because positionally you are becoming worse and worse, right? And if you play positionally right, your moves are almost intuitive. You just move here and move there, and you can win just based on strategy alone and no tactics. Right. So this is one way. You have to learn the principles in the beginning.
Now help me do this shift from the principles in chess to the principles of strategy. So what principles do you follow? And we can also take your example as a CISO, where it's about cyber and it's about also like attacks and so on. What are principles that you follow when you do strategy in your company or for your own area?
Yeah, so there are many, but I can pick some of the most important ones. And so let's take some common principles that you learn when you start playing chess. There are three main rules of the opening. The first one is control the center. The second one is develop your pieces. And the third one is keep your king safe. Does not necessarily mean castle your king. Later down the line, you learn the difference. But if you just take these three, the first one in controlling the center is so important because that is the main pathway to move between the sides of the board, right? If you pass through the center, that's the most efficient. If I control the center, then you will have to work around me and your life becomes more difficult. So translating it back into a company, controlling the center to me means looking at what the core processes in the company is. What's the core business of this company? Right? If you're making cybersecurity moves that are not really helping the company to move forward, it's not aligned with the center or the core of the company. For me, it also means the key stakeholders, right? The C-level, the board, the leaders, they are the center in some sort of the company. And if you have to find yourself working around them all the time, you'll have a really hard time as a CISO, right? The second principle, is developing your pieces. Now, if you play a game and all your key pieces are at home, there's a war going on, and your pieces are still at home. They're not participating in the battle. And when people start playing chess, this is what they do. They move the pawns so many times and they forget they have other pieces, right? But you will always be at a disadvantage somehow. So for me, that means developing my team, right? The people that work with me, the people that depend on me in the company, but also developing my own skill set. So I go and try to improve myself gradually every year in something because it's a good principle basically because the more you develop, opportunities just randomly appear from nowhere, but they are not random. It's because your pieces were in the position to take advantage of them.
They were in position to take advantage of whatever opportunity pops up. Yeah.
And then the last one, protecting your king, strategically means common sense to me. In all the security you're doing, don't forget that we have limited resources. This is a company that wants to make money. And also, most importantly, what's the most important asset in the company? So for an AI company, it could be the AI model, it could be some intellectual property, it could be some data. Don't lose sight of the most important part because we have a tendency to over-engineer, right? You wanted to, you turn one problem into 10. To protect, you've turned one problem into 10. So don't lose sight of what's most important. Put it aside and keep it safe first before you think about other things. So this is just the basic three opening principles and how I translate them, but there are so many more. Actually, the more advanced the player, the more principles they have.
I think that would also be true for a company. If a company that's more advanced in their strategic game, they would also have to build on more principles. But looking into the companies I worked with, I think those three principles would do them good, or at least a lot of them would really learn from that. Now, you are in the cyber security area as a CISO, right? And when I think about cyber, I think about people in masks that sit there and hack your systems, right? And maybe there's been a Bond movie too much in my playlist in the past. But also in cyber, there are so many threats coming from the outside. You might have your shop, you have your like internet connection of your own server, you have your website, you have all your data. There are so many things that could happen from the outside. So you also have to decide, do I build up a fortress? Do I wall myself in, which might be protecting the king? Yeah. Or do I start to develop my pieces and be a little bit more proactive? I don't want to say attacking, be more proactive. So how does the cyber world, the cybersecurity world look like from that perspective in 2020?
Actually, I like how you use the word fortress. This is also, I think it's a very precise use of the word also in chess, right? So if you look at the cyber world now, if I would be really honest, and we considered it a general cyber war against attackers and defenders, the simple truth is that we're on the losing side of the war as every cyber defender. Why do I say that? Two reasons. The first one is the advent of AI, right? AI means more functionality. Now it's integrated in every single tool, every single system. The idea of proactive control will soon be a myth, that you are going to be able to make some sort of review before someone includes some AI somewhere. It's not going to happen. So it means that we are going to have to react at scale autonomously. This is the first one. But in the second one, the entire strategic principle we are using as defenders is wrong because we are only defending, right? And in chess, if you're only defending, you inevitably will lose. Most of the time, the best move is an attacking move. Why? Because if I attack you, I force you to defend and I force you to use your resources. And if you are always defending, you somehow feel you're always out of resources. It's never enough. And most importantly, there's no deterrent. Your adversary fears for nothing, right? As a Caesar, when someone hacks me, I cannot counterattack. I'm fighting with my hands behind my back, basically. I cannot write some AI, and when someone fishes me, it wastes their time and chats with them for weeks on it. Maybe that's possible in some future. And this is a really tough position to be in on the losing side. So what you do when you can only defend is you build a fortress on the chessboard, which means you say, I'm holding my position. I know I'm not winning, but you're not going to be able to break through. Historically, there are very few decision makers or chess players who have been able to do that. There is Anatoly Karpov. He was one of the Russian players known for insane defensive abilities. He can just defend alone and squeeze you out like a python almost. That's what they call him. But we are not all Anatoly Karpov as CISOs, right? So you defend until something's going to give, something cracks somewhere long term. This is my assessment.
I'm almost depressed now, right? So it feels like
Doom and gloom.
it feels like we are doomed.
No, but if we don't have something significant, a significant tool for defense, and we continue with how the spread of AI is going without real consideration for the security, you have model context protocols, you have all these things coming up that remind me of when they released HTTP without the S, right? So if we continue on this path, it's going to be somehow very difficult, right? We will find ourselves in what we call a Zugzwang in chess, a position of no good move. But the good thing is that the fundamental principles still work, right? So educating your employees, so good awareness training, but also focusing on tools that can defend at scale, that can automate defense. So we also have to use the AI for defense. We also have to go into all these things. Yeah.
A last question. I think this is so looking from afar, as I said, I'm not a chess player. I help companies execute their strategy. I sometimes also help them write their strategy. I sometimes even write their strategy myself for the company, which is sometimes funny because I have no idea what I'm doing. I do it anyway. But you said before, when you did that shift from ELO 1800 to ELO 2000, it was this understanding what principles mean and like really using them. And that's your vision of the end game. Is like you have this vision of your principles and they are true. Isn't that what you are trying to do, is building that fortress like the HTTPS? Isn't that a principle? So isn't that the moment now, in order to defend better, to build a better fortress, we have to come up with new principles in order to defend?
You're exactly right. So this is cutting edge technology we're talking about now, the model control, model context protocols from Anthropic. A good one would be to release MCPS, which actually by default maybe will secure how you add more context to your AI and you create MCP service. Because the difficulty of becoming secure is being, the difficulty of becoming secure is harder for developers, right? Because anytime you're developing with these things now, you have to consider so many more things that previously you didn't. And there are so many more new attacks that are coming up. So I think for cyber people right now, towards the future in modern CISOs, the way to go is to leverage AI ourselves for some of the decisions. So let's say you have 40 decisions. You have to figure out which number of them can be automated with AI. And then you as the human, you take care of the weighted decisions, right? The ones that carry more weight for human life for the company. So if you split it into 30-10, then the AI can do the 30 easier decisions much faster, and then you'll be able to take the weighted decisions. This is the only way to stay ahead of the curve today. And this is why it's a fun period. Every transition is a fun period. It's scary for every security professional, but it also means we are going to learn a whole lot. We are going to come up with fantastic tools, great researchers out there who are looking into these things as well.
Thank you very much for taking us on that journey. I think you've proven, at least from your Elo skill, that you are a better strategist than your average club player. So maybe you are a better CISO than the average CISO. Maybe that's what it means as well.
Of experience and intuition that comes with years. Yeah. And intuition should not be underrated at all. Yeah. Some people do not know all this tactics or this, but they just feel the right thing to do because they've done it for many years. That means
and they have this gut feeling as well. Yeah?
Exactly. I'm not there yet. And this is just the start of my career. So I'm just looking forward to getting that as well.
So, dear listeners, I think there's 3 principles we can take away from this. Control your center, which means make sure that you understand your core processes in the company, understand your stakeholders, and like really control them, because then your competition has to work around you. Develop your pieces, right? Develop your team, develop your own skills, get training, then opportunities will come naturally. And then protect your king, which does not mean protect your CEO, but protect your property, protect your ideas, protect your knowledge, so that, you can build on the next principles that maybe we do in the next episode in a year's time or so. Hey, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for the great excursion into chess. I press my thumbs for your new chess career. And maybe we see you soon play against Carlsen and all the other great guys. That would be great fun.
And that is a wild dream. The guy is too good. It's too dream to be there. But I'm going to try to do my best to learn more and more.
Hey, take care. Thank you for your time. Thanks for